Few details have been shared about the investigation into the shooting by an ICE agent that killed Johan Sebastián Durán Guerrero more than 2 weeks ago. CENTER Maine has confirmed the Maine Attorney General's office continues to be involved in the investigation. Our Christian Harsa has been working to learn more.
Between the moments of anger and mourning were calls for accountability and an independent investigation.
We want to make sure this investigation is full, thorough, and transparent.
From Biddeford's Mayor Liam LaFountain, Representative Shelley Pingree.
They don't drop this before all the evidence is looked through and we have a thorough investigation of what went on.
And Senator Angus King.
We want a full, transparent, and open investigation of this matter.
Those calls continuing, Maine legislators writing to Homeland Security Secretary Mark Wayne Mullen, we call on you to ensure that DHS continues to cooperate fully with the investigation by Maine's Office of the Attorney General and the Department of Public Safety. There was not a strong precedent for an independent investigation. Minnesota officials were initially barred from evidence in the investigation of Renee Good and Alex Preddy, both killed by federal immigration agents. Local officials eventually getting access 6 months later. To get an update on where the Biddeford investigation stands, CENTER Maine reached out to the Department of Homeland Security, FBI, Biddeford Police, ICE, and the Maine Attorney General's office. ICE directed us to DHS. DHS directed us to the agency's own office of the Inspector General. The FBI referred to DHS and the Maine AG's office. Biddeford Police also directed us to the Maine AG's office.
I don't know specifically, haven't been involved with investigations.
On CNN's State of the Union, Border Czar Tom Homan on Sunday shedding some light on the procedure.
They're usually put on administrative leave pending the investigation, pending, sworn statements, internal affairs interviews, and the entire investigation, they usually will not be put back on duty until the investigation is over.
Christian Harsa reporting there. The Maine Attorney General's office has confirmed with us it is cooperating with the federal government in the investigation. It did not have any other details to share. We learned today federal immigration enforcement agents will get body cameras the first week of August, so next week. Senator Susan Collins made the announcement saying she confirmed it with the acting director of ICE. DHS awarded a contract to purchase those cameras for $20 million that Collins secured in the annual appropriations bill. Collins says ICE will prioritize getting those cameras onto Maine agents.
No hate, no fear. Immigrants are welcome.
A brewery in Biddeford held a concert tonight to help raise money to support the Guerrero family and the organization Project Relief Maine. It started at 6:30 at Sacred and Profane Brewery. Event organizers tell us they sold about 127 seats and raised more than $3,800. Attendees got to see about a dozen performers from musicians to poets.
Trying to see poetry, music, art as a pathway for protest.
Just really grateful that folks would be so generous and willing to contribute and willing to come out on a rainy night.
Half of the $3,800 will go to the family of Johan Guerrero, and the other half will go to Project Relief. Tickets for tonight's event were set at a pay-what-you-can price. In other news, a man accused of assaulting a woman in Portland with bodily fluids is denying the allegations. An attorney for Theo Orestes says he was grabbing food when a woman confronted him and accused him of throwing semen at her. The attorney, Mike Whipple, says Orestes agreed to give his DNA sample to police. Whipple says his client also took a polygraph test and appeared to be speaking the truth.
He has scientific evidence that he's innocent, right? Not just his statement compared to her statement, who's more believable.
The Department of Justice's Criminal Resource Manual notes several limitations for polygraph tests, saying the polygraph test only measures physical reactions to questions and can't indicate if someone is guilty or innocent. Moving on now, federal workplace safety officials are issuing nearly $800,000 in penalties to a Washington County paper mill. OSHA says it's issued 12 citations to Woodland Pulp after 2 separate incidents at the mill this year. Back in January, a gas leak exposed 12 employees to hydrogen sulfide. 2 people died. The second incident occurred in March for a hydrogen peroxide spill. Of the total citations, 4 were for not providing workers with proper alarms or breathing devices. The other 8 were for a lack of employee training, failure to conduct medical evaluations, and neglecting to label chemicals or control chemical exposure risks. Since 2017, Woodland Pulp has been inspected 13 times by the agency and has received 14 total citations prior. The attorney representing the families of the 2 men killed in January says their wrongful death lawsuit is seeking justice.
Of the tens and thousands of inspections OSHA conducts annually, there are only a few hundred serious willful violations. The fact that 4 were issued for what happened at Woodland Pulp really demonstrates the culture of safety that was lacking at this plant.
A spokesperson for Woodland Pulp tells us the company is aware of the citations and is in the process of reviewing them. Woodland Pulp has 15 days to comply or appeal the OSHA's fines.